Before we dive into today's lesson, I need to take a moment to say thank you. To every Geomaster out there hitting that subscribe button, sharing lessons, or dropping a comment, you're the reason this channel exists. Seriously, your support isn't just a number, it's fuel. Every time I see a "this helped me pass" comment, I'm reminded why we do this. You're not just learners, you're part of the Geomaster family. Now, to the 2025 matriculants, yes, you, I see those late-night study sessions, the stress headaches, the "will I make it" panic. This year, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Geography might feel like a mountain right now, but here's the truth. You're stronger than you think. That map work you're grinding through, those climate graphs that haunt your dreams, they're building resilience. And when you walk into that exam room, you're walking in with every lesson, every past paper, every time you chose to keep going. You've got this. A special shout out to those juggling family duties, part-time jobs, or just fighting self-doubt. Geography isn't just about rocks and rivers, it's about perseverance. And hey, if katabatic winds can reshape valleys, you can reshape your future. For every "why am I doing this?" remember, you're not alone. This community's got your back. Drop a "I'm a Geomaster" in the comments if you're pushing through. We're all rooting for you. Lastly, your support isn't just about views or likes. It's the DMs saying, "I finally get line thunderstorms," or "your video saved my test." That's what keeps me up late editing, researching, and badgering my two puppies to stop walking on the keyboard. You inspire this content. So keep showing up, and I'll keep breaking down topics until they're as clear as a Karoo sky. Together, we've got this. Imagine waking up to frost-covered oranges in the Eastern Cape or fog so thick on the N3 highway you can't see your own bumper. Spoiler, it's not magic. It's katabatic and anabatic winds. These invisible forces shape where we farm, live, and even breathe. By the end of this lesson, you'll crack the code on why valleys are nature's micro-drama queens. Ready to become a wind whisperer? Let's go. By the end of this lesson, you will understand how katabatic winds freeze valley floors and anabatic winds scrub pollution from the air. You will also be able to explain why farmers plant apples mid-slope but potatoes at the bottom. You'll be able to link frost pockets, thermal belts, and smog to real SA issues, looking at you and your surroundings. Let's turn you into a valley climate master. Katabatic winds, the nighttime ninjas. Katabatic winds are cold, dense air that slides down slopes into valleys at night. Think of them as nature's AC, freezing the valley floor while leaving the mid-slopes warmer. Let's break down how these stealthy winds shape our world. Formation: why cold air goes downhill. At night, valley slopes lose heat like a phone battery on 1%. Air touching these slopes cools, becomes dense, and sinks into the valley, pushed by gravity. It's like pouring cold syrup downhill, but less tasty. Cold valley air pushes warm air upward, flipping temperatures. Warmer air sits above colder air, causing a temperature inversion. Mid-slope, a thermal belt forms, the Goldilocks zone where frost avoids and farmers rejoice. Imagine it as a VIP lounge halfway up the mountain. Effects: valley floors turn into freezers, killing crops. Moisture condenses into thick fog, great for horror movies, terrible for drivers. Eastern Cape citrus farmers, they've got frost PTSD. Let's look at the influence of these nighttime downslope winds on farming, where to plant, or panic. At the valley floor, grow frost-hardy potatoes or citrus. Oranges love the cold's pest control. At the thermal belt, apples and pears thrive here. Warmer temps protect blossoms. Pro tip: don't plant grapes at the bottom unless you like raisins. Now the influence on settlements: avoid the freezer. Valley floors are cold, damp, and polluted thanks to trapped smog. Middle slopes, prime real estate. Johannesburg's northern suburbs, built around this zone to dodge frost and asthma. Lastly, the influence on transport. Fog versus your morning commute. Radiation fog on the N3 highway turns cars into blindfolded bumper cars. Accidents spike in winter, so drive slower than a tortoise or risk becoming roadkill. Shifting to the anabatic winds, the daytime heroes. By day, slopes heat up, warming air that rises like steam from a kettle. These anabatic winds are nature's elevator, lifting pollution away from valleys. Thank these winds for fresh air. Let's check how anabatic winds work. Firstly, the sun warms slopes, air rises, like your ambition during exams. Secondly, rising air sucks in valley floor air. Lastly, convergence and sinking. Air converges at the top, sinks centrally. It's a recycling system. But for wind, anabatic winds are very important to valleys. They clear pollution. Factories in Mpumalanga? These winds stop smog from becoming a deadly blanket. Bonus, cleaner air leads to happier crops and hikers. Diving deep to the nature's freezer. A frost pocket is a cold trap on the valley floor, where temperatures drop below freezing. How? Cold air, denser than warm air, slides down slopes at night and pools in the valley, like water filling a bowl. Walls of the valley act as barriers, trapping the cold air. Clear winter skies, common in South Africa, let heat escape rapidly, turning these pockets into ice boxes. Example: citrus farms in the Eastern Cape battle frost damage every winter. Imagine waking up to frozen oranges. Moving on to frost pocket impacts. Frost kills tender crops like grapes and young citrus. Farmers use frost fans, heaters, or plant hardy crops like potatoes. In terms of settlements, few choose to live here. Damp homes, icy mornings, and higher heating bills. Ice on roads like the R62 in the Little Karoo makes winter commutes as risky as a game of icy road chicken. Link frost pockets to katabatic winds. Now the thermal belt, the valley's safe zone. The thermal belt is a warmer band halfway up the slope. How? Cold air sinks to the valley floor, leaving a layer of warmer air above. This zone avoids frost and fog, making it prime real estate. Example: Stellenbosch vineyards plant frost-sensitive grapes here. It's like nature's skip the drama button for farmers. Apples, pears, and delicate flowers thrive in the thermal belt. Example: KwaZulu-Natal's mid-slope tea plantations. Wealthy suburbs, like Johannesburg's Sandton, cling to these slopes to avoid valley floor cold. Pollution. In cities, warm air above traps smog below. Joburg's winter smog is a thermal belt side effect. Now let's focus on the radiation fog, the valley's ghostly blanket. Radiation fog forms on cold, clear nights when the ground chills the air above it. Moisture condenses into tiny droplets, creating thick fog. Example: the N3 highway near Harrismith turns into a blind drive every winter. Farmers in Mago Baskloof use this fog to hydrate tea plants, but too much causes mold. It's a love-hate relationship. Lastly, the smog. When fog goes toxic. Smog results from smoke plus fog. Factories, cars, and fires pump pollutants into the air, trapped under a warm layer, thanks to thermal belts. Example: Joburg's winter smog, 2021. Spiked asthma cases. Smog cause acid rain which harms crops. Tourists skip smoggy views in the Magaliesberg. Managing valley climate challenges. Farmers should use frost fans, drip irrigation to reduce fog damage. Towns must build settlements mid-slope, e.g., Clarence in the Free State. Drivers use fog lights. Reduce speed, you're not Lewis Hamilton. Governments should enforce emission laws, e.g., Mpumalanga's coal plants. Key takeaway: valleys are high maintenance, but worth it. Urban climates are up next, where skyscrapers create wind tunnels and traffic jams turn into heat islands. Subscribe or stay as lost as a penguin in the Karoo. Smash that bell or risk missing why your city hates summer. On to urban climates next week. Let's turn stress into success. Stay awesome, Geomasters.